stuff.
But who's conceding then? Because I feel like
conceding?
someone's compromising then in that situation.
Yeah, that's well, so I actually will agree with you here and give you an olive branch. I do think that there would be a concession, and that is submission of the woman.
That's where I disagree then.
Well, yeah, what's wrong with a woman submitting to a man?
I just don't I understand there can be scenarios there are scenarios intimacy and stuff like that. There are scenarios where that can be a thing, but I don't know why it wouldn't be valued an opinion on say like you said a debate on something what fruit is I don't know, you can't really debate on fruit because that's objective, but something that is subjective.
But even a thing which is subjective. So from the context that I'm looking at it at, I don't believe that there's any two consciousness which exist. Consciousnesses. It's a joke. Kidding.
Don't get that.
Trying to lighten the mood. I don't think that there's ever going to be two people who come into contact where one doesn't ultimately end up dominating the other to some degree. I don't even believe that that's possible. I don't think that there's ever going to be a such thing as true equality between two people ever. I don't even think that such a thing is a possibility. So if you're in a relationship with another person, one person is going to be the dominant head. Why would that person not logically be the person who is physically stronger and the person who has to go and make the bread and make the financial choices for the household? That seems to kind of track and follow. The protector is going to be the person who ultimately is looked at as the leader and the leader of the household. So why shouldn't the woman submit to him?
Here's what I would be interested in hearing is what would you define as
Well, can you let her
submission?
answer real quick?
Oh, sure.
Just real quick.
So I would say for that. So that's that. My issue with that is you don't value my opinion on you said financial decisions, right?
That's not true.
But you said you're the dominant, you're the end all be all.
And
So
I think, well, I think you're making a conflation. It's not that, so for instance, I'm married. I value my wife's opinion, but what if we're having a conflict and I don't agree with her? If I say, look, I don't agree. I think right now it's the time for our family to take risk, and you don't think it's time for our family to take risk. While I value your opinion and your input, ultimately the decision falls on me to make that choice. And so I'm going to lead our family towards risk, let's say, or less risk. Let's say she says, I want to do something which is more risky to our finances. Ultimately, that falls on me to make that choice. There's only going to ever be one person who is the head, whether it's the woman or the man. I just think that it seems to be preferable that the man is the head. Women seem to prefer it, and men seem to prefer it.
So you're saying if you guys have a disagreement, you're the end decision.
Of course.
That's why I wanted to know how you define submission, because I do have a thought I'd like to share, but I'd like to hear your definition of it first so I know where we're coming from.
I would say it would probably be at the end of the day, that's the final.
Who has the final
that's
say?
That's the final thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In that sense, real quick, I would just say you can think about it just think about a platonic relationship though. You and your friend. I understand in this scenario you're not talking about that, but in you and someone you really respect. If you want to think about someone you respect and think about it in that type of way.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you can respect that person and have them always submit to your final decision. How can you still respect that person, though?
Okay.
Why is it?
Well,
That's let me kind of give you an easy counter to this. I have children. I respect my children, but they're going to adhere to my word, whether I respect them or not. If I think that they're doing something, they're fucking up in some way. For instance, let's say they want to put their hand in their fire. I'm not going to respect them enough to let them do that. They're going to respect me instead, and they're not going to put their hand in the fire regardless of what they want. I don't care what they want. They're going to do what they're told because it's for their safety, and that's what's going to happen. What's wrong? Well, what's actually wrong with that? What is the problem with me? Are you saying I don't respect them because I won't let them make decisions which are bad for them?
I think what she's...
Wait, hold on. Actually, let me just devil's advocate this. Yeah, but Andrew, women aren't children.
The thing is, though, is that the whole night we've been hearing about how women are infantilized and they have to shave their body hair so that they could be more like, but that aside, we'll let that go for a second. The point and principle here is not whether or not women are children. I agree that they're not. And I don't infantilize women. I think that they are perfectly capable of making decisions and be held to account for those decisions. But the point still stands that if I see anybody who's fucking up and doing something which is against their own interest, and I'm responsible for their interests, then it falls as a duty to me to step in and do something about that. And that includes my wife, that includes my children, that would include my brother, my sister, anybody who's an extension of my family, wouldn't it?
But how do you trust that you have the best decision on that then?
Trust.
How do you know that you have the best?
It doesn't come down to trust. It comes down to who can. It comes down to who can. And so the thing is that there are those who can and there are those who can't. Ultimately, in a family dynamic, men can do things women can't do, and women can't do very much men can't. And that is the truth. You may not like that truth, but all I would ask you to do to disprove this is tell me a thing which you think that women are going to generally be better at than men inside of a home setting. I'd like to know what that is, but I can name for you many things men are going to generally be much better at than women.
Give birth.
So their primary edict? The thing which I agree is their primary function? Well, you really got me with that one.
I know.
So over
I
here,
handed
can
it
you
to you.
give me the
She was
example?
trying to be
Can you give me
nice
the
to you.
example?
She gave him a layup.
Yeah. So yeah, I wanted you to hit, a home run, so to speak.
Yeah, well, that was quite the home run. But anyway, back over to you, Red. I say that because I don't remember names. It's nothing personal. But red
So-
hair. Can you tell me what you think that
Okay.
women are going to be more dominant in the household than men? What they're going to be more
dominant in?
skilled at, better at?
Like in an average sense, if we're talking about like in society, what averagely they would be maybe
Yeah.
excelling in.
Yeah. What are they going to be better at?
Maybe consoling. Maybe consoling children.
Word.
Like maybe I would also I don't know though, because I feel like there's different, I know both circumstances where some women are shut down emotionally towards their children and some men aren't, so there's roles
Sure.
reversed in certain
Well, I
ways.
guess ultimately we can reduce it to, do you think that women are better at leading households than men? That's the question.
No, I think no.
No. And so, it really comes down to that. Men are better at leading households. And because of that, generally women need to submit.
I got to move it on.